Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane's studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Monday. Means we're brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Fired up, you're hanging out with us. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Better start than pretty much every LSU athletics program had over the weekend. We're going to talk about a lot of it over the next couple of hours. Also, the NFL news wire is heating up with free agency agreements and signings. The Saints have been involved on both sides of that spectrum early on, so we'll get into some of that discussion in 15 minutes. Matt McMahon was asked about his future in Baton Rouge after the LSU's loss on Saturday. We'll get to that sound a little bit later on in the hour. Buzzy Haidell going to be with us at 2 o'clock. Tiger National Champion, member of the LSU Sports Radio Network. He'll try to unpack what we saw this weekend. And that's where we're going to start today with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
I told you to calm down. I said, calm down. Calm down. Yeah, they lost on Monday. Yeah, they lost on Wednesday. But these issues aren't cropping up on the weekends where they've been a perfect 9-0. Don't worry, I said. And then LSU went out on Friday. Kason Evans was perfect through 5 innings. And they bashed 15 hits for 15 runs with 6 homers in 5 innings of offensive production. And it felt like just a big exhale. All right, we're good. Jake Brown's hitting homers. Stephen Milam's hitting homers. Derek Curiel hitting homers. We're rolling. And then they played Saturday. And then they played Sunday. And it was right back to what last week looked like. Over the final 2 games of the series against Sacramento State, LSU totaled 9 hits. Only 2 of them were for extra bases. They only scored 5 total runs in 2 games. And they lost them both. And so now the questions are fair. The questions are fair. They have not hit for 2 weeks. So as I look at this, I look at an offense that was phenomenal for 2 weeks and has been awful for 2 weeks. And so I try to wrestle with that. What does that mean? And ultimately, I think it probably means they're not the team that blitzed everybody for 2 weeks. And they're not the team that has been awful for 2 weeks. They're probably somewhere in the middle of that. And how close they are to either extreme will indicate ultimately how the next 10 weeks go. I wrote some numbers down for LouisianaSports.net's Around the Horn piece this morning. And this is pervasive throughout the entire lineup outside of 2 guys. Jake Brown and Derek Curiel are hitting. Over the course of the last 8 games, they both have 11 hits. That means they've gone 22 for 59. They're hitting .373 as a duo. They've got 8 extra base hits over the course of those 8 games. Those 2 guys are swinging the bats. The rest of the lineup is not. And I will go through the numbers. I know that numbers don't play great on radio, but you'll get the point of this. Cade Arambidi is 3 for his last 23. That is a 130 batting average. He's got 1 extra base hit. Zach York is 5 for his last 27. That is a 185 batting average. He's got 2 extra base hits. Stephen Milam, 4 for 27. That's 148. A 148 average. Trent Carraway, 4 for 22. That is 181. It's a 181 average. Seth Dardar, 3 for 23. That is 130. Cade Arambidi, Zach York, Stephen Milam, Trent Carraway, Seth Dardar. Batting averages 130, 185, 148, 181, and 130. And I'll toss Braden Simpson in there at the end. He's not playing every day, but he's 3 for his last 13. That's 231. He does not have an extra base hit in that time. You can't win like that. There are 6 guys, 7 guys in the lineup every day that over the last 8 games have got just giving you nothing. I've stewed on this for 2 weeks, y'all, like everyone has. I've stewed on this for 2 weeks. I've watched every pitch. I've dug through the statistics. I've listened to Jay Johnson talk. I've listened to the team talk. And I have come down to this is my answer to what's going on. I believe that LSU has some pretty damn good hitters. I believe beyond Jake Brown and Derek Curiel that LSU's got some pretty damn good hitters. Seth Dardar went through a year at Kansas State and was their best hitter. He's hitting 130 over the last 8 games. Stephen Milam carried the team for 3 weeks last year in June. He's popping everything up. Zach York did nothing but hit at Grand Canyon. And the competition he saw at Grand Canyon is very similar to what you've played for 4 weeks. Sacramento State's in the same league. He's already played against them. And over the last 8 games, he's hitting $185. So he's not doing it. Would be one thing if he couldn't hit the SEC flamethrowers that are throwing 98 miles an hour, which, by the way, I saw him do it all fall. He's just slumping. I think he can hit. Trent Carraway's got a low floor, and he might not hit for a high average, but you hope for he slugs a little bit. He hit the home run at ULL, but that's his only extra base hit in the last 8 games. Braden Simpson hit a ton last year at High Point. I think LSU has some good hitters that are going to be better than this. I don't think all of these guys are going to be 200 hitters for the next 10 weeks. I don't believe that. Every single team that Jay Johnson has had at LSU has hit. And every single team that Jay Johnson has had at LSU has played its best later in the season. That first team he had got going late. They went to Vanderbilt the last SEC weekend and just went bananas in the final weekend of the regular season. They played their best offensive baseball late in that season. And they hit in Chapel Hill. They hit in Hattiesburg. It took them a while that first game, but they scored a bunch of runs on Southern Miss in the second game. They hit. And then, of course, you won the national championship in 23, and they were playing great. And then last year, the team 2 years ago started 3-12 in the league, and they got hot and were playing great down the stretch. And last year's team didn't lose after the Little Rock game. His teams have done that, and these guys have some track record in college. Aaron Beatty's the only one that really doesn't. I think it's going to get better than this, but this is a prolonged stretch. And any questions that you have are certainly valid at this point. The fear that I have is that this is snowballing mentally for LSU. Because you're watching the game, okay? And you understand what they're going through the last 2 weeks, and I think they do too. So you go 3 up, 3 down in the first, and you don't score through the first 2 innings, and then you're going, uh-oh, here we go again. And you're just not hitting. It'd be one thing if you didn't hit for a day. You ran into a hot pitcher who had a great changeup, or he was throwing a ton of strikes, and you have one of those days. It happened last year. The team, I called the game, they played Omaha, and for 8 innings, they just were MIA. And that happens. It's 56 games. You can't play them all great. But the concern is when it lingers and it lasts. And this is. This is lingering. This is lasting. And it's costing you games. This is a stat that's been rattled off a bunch of times, but this is the most pre-conference losses LSU has had since 2007. I was a freshman at LSU. It was Paul Maneri's first team. That team went to Stetson and I believe got swept. So they lost to Lipscomb. I remember I listened to the game in my dorm room. Lost to Lipscomb. You're not seeing elite pitching. You're just not hitting the ball hard enough. You're not creating enough opportunities. I put the statistics on my piece in Around the Horn. You're talking about a team that over the losses that they've suffered over those 4 losses, they hit 193 across those games. And if you take Friday out of the mix from this past week, which is cherry picking, I know, but it drives the point home. On Saturday and Sunday, you had 7 extra base hits and 135 at bats for the week. You were 3 for 73 with runners on base over the course of the week. That's a 178. You were 6 for 40 with runners in scoring position. That is a 1-450 average You're just not stringing at bats together. You're not hitting the ball hard. You're not slugging. And it would be one thing if this is all new guys, and then I would panic and go, maybe they're just not very good. But I've seen these guys be better than this against this level of competition. So my feeling is that it's going to get better. And the beauty of this thing is you have a 30-game eraser at your ready. Because if you go out there and beat Vanderbilt 2 out of 3 this weekend, you better play a lot better than you have been. If you go out there and beat them 2 out of 3 this weekend, you'll forget what happened for 2 weeks. You'll feel like you went on the road, played Vanderbilt, got a couple of wins. You just move on. And the SEC has enough juice to it where you can overcome all this stuff. It's tougher when you lose league games to make up for it. But when you lose these games, you can make up for those with 30 SEC games, especially when you win on the road. But you've just got to play a lot better than what they're doing. And Jay Johnson's pulling every lever that he can. He's played Daniel Harden. He's played Mason Braun. He's played Omar Cerna. He's gone with John Pearson at times. Gone with Braden Simpson, then goes with Dardar. He put Jack Ruckert in there over the weekend. Like he's pushing buttons. He's pulling levers. But you're just not getting anything beyond Brown and Milam. And the good news is you got Brown and Milam. Those guys are dudes. Brown and Curiel, and those guys are dudes. And hopefully you get Stanfield back here pretty soon, and you know what he is after 3 years in the Southeastern Conference. And I think LSU is going to be okay. This is a prolonged stretch, and I'm willing to entertain the fact that this offense may have some issues. Entertain it. I'm not there yet, but I understand if you are, because they're just simply not swinging the bats. They caught the ball a little bit better this weekend. Like to see Mason Braun make a play in left field yesterday. But they played a little bit better defense. They're not swinging the bats. I'm going to talk about the pitching in 15 minutes, and I'm actually encouraged by what I saw over the weekend from Evans and Schmidt, and Moore kept them in it. But you've got to score more than they are, and they're just in a funk offensively, and it's lingered now for 2 weeks. 2 really good weeks, 2 really bad weeks. It's probably not as good as the really good. It's probably not as bad as the really bad, but where does it level out in the middle of that? We'll have to see. Got to play Creighton tomorrow, and then you got to get on a plane, go to Nashville, and get this thing started. You can win 18 league games, you'll be fine. But you got to swing the bats to do that. That's our opening drive. Our Monday shows are brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Step aside, come back. Big news out of New Orleans. The end of an era. Talk about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Gotros Outdoor Power. Gotros Outdoor Power. If you're looking for a zero-turn mower, Gotros needs to be your stop. They've got the largest Hustler inventory in the state between their 2 locations, one on Airline Highway, I should say. Airline Drive, Demario Davis, next segment. Airline Highway here, Baton Rouge. They've got a huge selection of Hustlers. That grass is growing now. The weather's warmed up. It's time to get behind the wheel of that mower and make things happen. If you need a new one, go to Gotros Outdoor Power. They're open Monday through Saturday. Family-owned and operated. Shop with the local guys. They got incredible customer service. If you need that part delivered, if you need that piece of equipment delivered, they've got trucks that are running 8 hours a day every single day. If you're looking for financing, they can get you behind the wheel of a new zero-turn mower for $100 a month. It's an incredible deal. So go check them out. Gotros Outdoor Power. Check them out online at GotrosOnline.com. GotrosOnline.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Cane's Box Combo, a symphony of flavors. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
Monday show is brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Check them out online, GuaranteeHealth.com, GuaranteeHealth.com. Your Guarantee Health Solutions is focused on growth in the healthcare space. They're a partner for your healthcare operation and in full service. So if you're talking about getting patients in the door, they can help you with that. If you're talking about improving patient experience, they can help you with that. If you're talking about marketing, they can help you with that as well. If you're an urgent care, dental office, medical clinic, hospital, wherever you are in the healthcare space, Guarantee Health Solutions can help you. The pillars are innovation, marketing, delivering, and measuring, and they can help you out with any number of things, especially hospitality, which is a big push for Guarantee Health Solutions, making sure that your operation's patient-friendly, making sure the patient experience is an excellent one. They can help your team accomplish that. So reach out to them at GuaranteeHealth.com. Guarantee Health Solution, guiding healthcare forward. All right, y'all, the Saints are better right now than they were an hour ago. The Saints are better right now than they were an hour ago. And I wasn't prepared to say that when I went on air 18 minutes ago because Demario Davis had walked out the door. But the Saints have also added today, and they've added in a big, big way. In the last 15 minutes, we have seen the news that the Saints have agreed to terms with Buffalo Bills guard David Edwards, as well as Jacksonville Jaguars running back Travis Etienne. These are big-time additions to the New Orleans offense at absolute positions of need. So let me start with David Edwards. I find this to be the biggest splash that the Saints have made thus far. It's one of the biggest splashes that's been made today by anyone in the National Football League. David Edwards might be the best guard on the market. You look at his Pro Football Focus grade from this past season with Buffalo. He played in 18 games. He played over 1,100 offensive snaps. His pass blocking grade was a 75. That is excellent. His run blocking grade, a 66.3. His overall blocking grade was a 70.3. That is excellent work from an offensive guard at a position where the Saints were very, very, very weak. You tried Trevor Penning. That was whatever. You had to plug that hole when you traded him off, and you got some reasonable snaps from Radens, but this is a significant upgrade at a position of need. And when you insert David Edwards in there at left guard, you bring your potentially all-pro center back into good health in Eric McCoy. Your tackles are a year older and grown up a little bit, and then you've got Ruiz at right guard. But all of a sudden, your offensive line looks like a potential strength when it was very much a weakness, especially on the interior last year when you lost McCoy and you didn't really have a left guard and Ruiz is weak. The interior of your line was just awful, and that's a terrible spot to put your young quarterback in, but that's what the Saints did, and Shuck still was able to play through that. Now he should have a solid group up front, and hopefully you can run the ball a little bit. And to do that, you bring in Etienne on a 4-year deal. He's going to be making just north of $10 million on that. You pair him with Alvin Kamara. You see what you've got behind that, where you've had a nice end of the season there. And I think you are significantly better. This is going to lighten the workload of Alvin Kamara, which you need to do at this point in his career. You bring in a back that ran for over 1,000 yards last year. And I think the Saints significantly have upgraded their offense in the last hour and 15 minutes. I think both of these moves are very, very good. I don't think either of these moves is prohibitively expensive. And this is what happens when you create a little bit of cap room, which the Saints have not done. So this plan of chilling out on these restructures and stopping putting things down the road has allowed the Saints to breathe a little bit and go upgrade their team in veteran free agency. And I think these two moves make a ton of sense. I think they're excellent, and I think this Saints offense should look a lot better than it did last year. And toward the end of the season, albeit against some rough competition, they were pretty good offensively with Tyler Shuck most of the time. So this is a awesome start to free agency for the New Orleans Saints, filling things up on the offensive side of things. I think Edwards is a massive upgrade at left guard, and I think he got better at running back with Etienne. You pair him with Kamara. Yeah, they're a little bit older at running back, but I think it's going to be a productive room, and now you ought to be able to run the ball because your offensive line should be a little bit better. So I am incredibly thrilled with what the Saints have done early on in free agency. On the negative side of things, you do allow Demario Davis to walk. He has agreed to terms with the New York Jets. Of course, he spent some time there prior to his stint in New Orleans. And that's an emotional day, I think, for Saints fans to have Demario Davis walk out the door. This is a guy who is, by my estimation, the second greatest free agent signing in the history of the New Orleans Saints. Clearly, Drew Brees is the best ever. No one's going to track that down anytime soon. But I think Demario Davis is the second best. You're talking about a guy who came in, gave you 7 years, was a perennial Pro Bowler, was multiple times an All-Pro, was the heartbeat of your defense, the leader of your defense, insanely productive, and also an incredible guy in the community. And so to have him walk out the door is emotional, but you're looking at him as a 37-year-old player. Do you want to spend significant money on that in the middle of your defense? I understand why they didn't. The question is, how do you replace him? And the answer, in short, is Danny Stutzman. That's the hope. Now, Stutzman showed some flashes last year in limited time, was not a full-time player, was not a full-time starter, but did get on the field a lot more in the second half of the year than he did in the first half of the year, and he did some really good things. Do you take a step back there? Yeah, you probably do, but you do have upside with Stutzman. You'll see what he is. Perhaps the Saints go into free agency and make a move. Perhaps they make a play in round 1, round 2, or round 3 of the draft and try to fill things that way. That's questionable. That's going to be something that you've got to monitor. But we all knew that this was a distinct possibility, that Demario Davis might be walking out the door, and he has decided to do that. He wasn't going to take another discount. Demario's probably been a little bit underpaid for the majority of his time in New Orleans. For how productive he has been, you probably got a pretty good deal, and he just wasn't willing to do that on his last contract. So he gets a 2-year deal with the Jets, and he'll move on and play probably the final 2 years of his career there in New York. Saints have to move on. I'm okay with that. And we talked about it on Friday with Cam Jordan and Demario Davis. You didn't need to pay them based on what they've done or what they've meant to the organization. You were going to need to pay them what you feel like they're going to produce on that contract. And if you feel like you can spend your money better elsewhere, I'm okay with that. They've got to make a play and figure something out there in the middle of their defense, but it's something that they have time to do. It's now a question mark for this team moving forward. I don't have questions on the offensive line anymore. I don't have questions at running back anymore. The questions now arise in the middle of your defense, what you're going to do in Demario Davis's spot, and I think that there are some options there. It's interesting to watch how these free agent signings happen and then look at how it may shape how you draft. I don't know that the Saints are going to go out there and sign a running back to a 4-year deal and then go draft Jeremiah Love. I don't think that would be a prudent decision. So you start to look elsewhere at where you would use that number 8 pick, and it starts to feel more like that is a wide receiver or a potential edge rusher. That's what it kind of feels like, because you've shored up offensive line. You're not going to take an offensive lineman at that pick. You've shored up running back. You're not going to take a running back with that pick. So now you start to look to the outside. I don't know that you would take somebody in the middle of your defense at the 8th pick either. It's possible, but I would, since it's kind of unlikely, I think edge rusher and wide receiver are now the 2 spots where you're going to be able to find best available in the top 10 of that draft and make your team better at that spot. So it's a new feeling for New Orleans to be able to go out and shop towards the top of the market, because they're always scraping the basement trying to figure something out because they don't have any flexibility with their salary cap situation. They finally do have that flexibility, and they have made it happen. I think, as I mentioned to start this segment, the Saints are significantly better in my estimation right now than they were an hour and a half ago, and that's a very, very exciting thing. I think this offense has a chance to be really good in year 2 under Kellen Moore, year 2 for Tyler Shuck. Now your offensive line looks like a strength. If you can add a playmaker on the outside, you've added one behind Tyler Shuck at running back and Etienne. This looks like a functional group, where last year you were trying to kind of cobble things together, made it work, chicken salad out of you-know-what, but this now looks like a position player group that should be significantly improved. That's a very exciting thing for New Orleans Saints fans. Mickey Loomis off to a good start here in free agency. If you're just jumping aboard, Saints have made a move, and they have acquired David Edwards via free agency. Also went out and signed Travis Etienne to a 3-year deal. So good stuff for New Orleans as they move into veteran free agent. Ross Jackson's all over at LouisianaSports.net writing the stories up, and we'll certainly let you know if anything else happens over the course of the next 90 minutes. But there's excitement on the side of the offensive, and there's some emotion with the departure of Demario Davis, who, as he told Matt Moscona a Super Bowl week, that he'll always have a special place for New Orleans in his heart. He'll always come back and help that community, but he'll probably finish his playing career there with the New York Jets. Jordan, your thoughts on the comings and goings of the last 3 hours?
I just want to start off with Demario.
Yep.
It's great man on and off the field. I appreciate everything he's done for not only just the city and just the team, leadership-wise, but at the end of the day, when you have a guy like that wants to get paid and a team is willing to give him $15 million fully guaranteed, by all means, go make your money. By all means, go make your money. So it's hard to see him go, but you feel that Stutzman, it's time for him to take that step up. We'll see it finally what Pete can do. All right, Pete, now you're the man. So we're going to see what they got going on. But like I said, I told you before we got into this, I'm a little snake bit because I wanted Jeremiah Love at 8.
Yep.
But I cannot act like Travis Etienne is not legit. One of my favorite, fantasy football-wise, I get it. One of my favorite running backs, can catch the ball, kind of like a younger version of Alvin Kamara, but we're really getting at it, like his play style.
He's a touchdown getter.
Yeah.
He scored more touchdowns than anybody in ACC history when he was at Clemson.
A beast at Clemson. So production-wise, and he's coming off a good year. But again, the main thing, like you said, was finally shoring up the offensive line, getting rid of these clowns at guard. Now, I would like to get number 51 out of here. I'm not even going to say his name.
He's under contract.
He's locked in. He's locked in.
Paid. You got to get him out there.
He's locked in. So we're going to run him to the wheels fall off. But this is what you're supposed to do. You have a young quarterback, and you're finally building up the line around him. He's not running for his life.
They're not going to take an offensive lineman in the first round. How about that?
There's
nowhere to put one.
Don't speak too soon. Mickey might be like, we'll take a tackle. We'll move in the right guard. Like, don't speak too soon.
We shall see. All right, that's a look at the New Orleans Saints. When we come back, I didn't talk any pitching for LSU baseball in the first segment. I think it's noteworthy. Let's talk about it coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
I'm telling you about my friends over at Auctioner, auctioner.org. Auctioner.org is the website. Of course, all February long, we told you about the Heart Month. Big deal. Pay attention to your heart, right? Well, now we're into the month of March, and they want to talk about Colon Cancer Awareness Month, because that's what we're in here with March. Colon cancer is common, but it's preventable, treatable when it's caught early. So screening can detect precancerous polyps before they turn into cancer. Adults should get screened starting at age 45. So anybody with a family history of colon cancer, maybe a little bit earlier, but 45 should be that start date for getting checked out. Those experiencing symptoms like persistent abdominal pain, some bleeding, or changes in bowel habits should not delay care. Even if you feel healthy, screening is still very, very important. So schedule an appointment at auctioner.org/schedule or through the My Auctioner app. That's auctioner.org/schedule.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Lockmeyer, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lockmeyer, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com. HighlandIG.com is the website. Have you explored a captive for your commercial insurance program? If you have not, why? The Highland Insurance Group's happy to have that conversation with you. If you feel like you pay a sizable amount in premium, you've got good loss history, good risk prevention, well, maybe a captive is for you. It could be a game changer for your bottom line. I believe captives are kind of the future of insurance. It was trending that way when I was in the industry, and not every broker has access to captives. So if you're a sizable business, you pay a lot in premiums, and you don't have a lot of loss history, ask Jonathan Carpenter's team about captives. If your broker hasn't brought that up to you, Jonathan's happy to have that conversation. Check them out on HighlandIG.com. Could truly be a game changer for you in how you manage your insurance costs if you can get into a captive if you are a fit. They're online at HighlandIG.com. It's HighlandIG.com. All right, I talked about offense for LSU baseball a lot in the first segment, and quite frankly, it's just not even close to good enough right now. And it's throughout the lineup. It's most of the 9 guys they put in there on a given day. And so that's the lead of the show today. That's the lead of what everybody's talking about. That's the most important issue that LSU has got to deal with. However, there are other aspects of the game, and I think the most important aspect of the game is starting pitching. And I do believe in LSU's starting pitching right now. Now, keep in mind, Sacramento State did not hit at all before LSU, the weekend with LSU. They had been awful offensively. So I keep that in mind as I'm going through my assessment of what LSU did on the mound this weekend. But Kason Evans was the best he's been on Friday by a good bit. He was dialed. He was perfect through 5. His fastball touched 99 in the first inning. He was throwing strikes. I mean, he had 4 wild pitches entering Friday. Didn't have any of those issues. Was not walking guys. He only went to 3-ball counts twice. He struck both guys out. He had the changeup working. He had the breaking ball working in for strikes. He was commanding things. I loved how he was throwing the fastball to the glove side. Like, he was exactly what it's supposed to look like through his first 5 innings on Friday. And I was more so assessing what his pitches looked like than the results they were getting against a bad offensive team. But I know what it's supposed to look like. And it's 95, 96, good breaking balls. Changeup was awesome. And yeah, he gave up some hits, but it was 15-0. Like, I'm not too worried about it in the 6th inning. He only lasted 5 2/3, gave up 3 hits there, accredited with the 2 runs. But 9 strikeouts, no walks. That's encouraging. When I take Kason Evans' last 2 innings of his start last weekend, and then the 5 2/3 that he threw on Friday, he's starting to figure some things out. And that is very, very encouraging because you have to have your Friday guy set the tone in Southeastern Conference play, and you have to have a guy you can send out there that you feel really good about in the first game of a regional, in the first game of a super, in the first game of a College World Series. And Evans took a step toward that on Friday. I'm fully aware of what Sacramento State is and is not. So I'm not here to crown the guy after that outing on Friday. I'm just saying I really liked what I saw. It was impressive start to finish. The pitches had the right shape. They were in the right location. His velocity was really good. I thought he was great. That was a big, big step forward for me over the weekend. William Schmidt, his line score is not great. 5 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them were earned. But he could have gotten out of that with no damage if Mason Braun makes a play in left field or if either of the guys that Jay Johnson brought in got an out. He goes to Cooper Williams, who immediately hits a guy. Then he goes to Guidry, who immediately walks a guy, and then you give up the single, and then the 3 runs come in. William Schmidt was out of the game by the time runs came across. What I'm more concerned about, rather than the 3 runs, is the fact that through 5 2/3, he didn't walk anybody, and he struck out 8. And his fastball command looked really, really good. His breaking ball looked fantastic. He threw a couple of really good changeups, got an early strikeout on a changeup that the hitter took. It was fantastic. That's a pitch he's been working on. That's a pitch that it adds to his repertoire. And when you couple William Schmidt's outing from last week and this week, he's also moving up. And the biggest indicator of what LSU is going to end up being this season in SEC play and beyond that is Evans and Schmidt getting close to their ceiling. Cooper Moore is going to be what he is, and I'll talk about him in a second, but the ceiling on Evans and Schmidt is just astronomically high. And if those guys can reach that, LSU's going to be a handful. If they don't, and they walk guys and they get behind in counts, then all of a sudden LSU is compromised. And while the weekend was massively disappointing from a wins and losses standpoint and from an offensive standpoint, if I can separate the wins and losses and the offensive effort from the 2 guys who LSU needs to be horses, I can look at those and assess and go, yeah, the line scores aren't perfect, but for the vast majority of their outings, they were in complete control. That is very, very encouraging, I think. So I think that you're talking about 2 guys who took a step forward in their final pre-conference tune-up. We'll see what they can do against Vanderbilt. When you look at Cooper Moore and what he did, he didn't have his stuff. And sometimes you're going to go out there if you make 14 starts in a regular season and you're just not going to have your stuff. And he didn't. He didn't live in the strike zone like he generally does. He walked 3 guys. His changeup just wasn't as sharp as it has been. He gave up 4 hits, but he kept LSU in the game. And he got into the 5th inning. He only allowed 1 run, and then he let go of the baseball. But he gutted through it and kept LSU in games. And I think that's a good sign of a guy on Saturdays or potentially on Sundays that when you don't have your A stuff, you can still keep your team within striking distance. And I thought that Moore absolutely did that in the game on Saturday. His offense was giving him no help whatsoever. I think they had 1 hit through 7 innings as Moore was out there for the first 4 2/3. So the offense is giving you nothing, and he kept a poor Sacramento State offense, yes, but he kept LSU right there in the game. That's veteran, that's gritty, that's gutty. It kind of had Jared Poche vibes to me. Obviously, Poche left-handed, more right-handed, but like veteran, just getting the ball over the plate. If you get into a little bit of trouble, find a way out of it. Ianson kind of like that at times last year, even though Ianson kind of started to dominate towards the end of the year. Middle of the season, early in the season, he was just a master at battling out of jams. And Cooper Moore just kind of gutted through it and got his team into the middle innings with a chance. Unfortunately, the offense and the bullpen couldn't make things stand up. But Moore's had 2 stellar outings and 2 so-so outings, but he's held it together even when he didn't have his best stuff. Here's my thing on this starting staff. They're inching in the right direction, and I think that they're going to end up being good. And they are a source of optimism for me with this team. It's a bleak time right now. Vibes are awful right now. Fan base is cranky right now. All that stuff is true. But as I try to remove myself from that and exhale a little bit, I look at this and go, I think their pitching has a chance to be damn good. And the most important aspect of a baseball team is the starting pitching. With that, you can control games. And LSU, when those 3 guys were in the game, stayed in games. And at times dominated. Obviously, with Evans out there, the offense went nuts. But you were in it with Moore on the mound and with Schmidt on the mound, and you just kind of let go of the rope. I am a little bit concerned about the bullpen, about the guys that you really want to be good. Cooper Williams has struggled with command now in a few of his outings. Gavin Guidry got hit yesterday a little bit. You just haven't seen the depth of the staff, which I thought was going to be a huge strength of this team. You're not seeing enough of those guys step forward out of the bullpen. The one positive out of the bullpen for this weekend was Ethan Plog. I thought he did an excellent job in Saturday's game. I've got his line score here. 2 2/3 innings, no runs, no hits, 2 strikeouts, just 1 walk. I thought he looked excellent. And when I got asked by a couple people on last week when Jay Johnson said in Lafayette, I know the 4 guys I'm going to go to, and I got asked, well, who are those 4? And I told you, and I wrote about it, Louisiana Sports Net, I talked about it here. I said, well, obviously Sheeran and obviously Guidry. Those are obvious ones. And then it feels like Plog is one of those guys with Rizzi, because you got to have a left-hander step up. And Plog's kind of been the guy they've gone to. At times it's been bumpy with his command, but he had his command on Saturday, and he got you through 8 outs. And I thought that was really good. Couple strikeouts, throwing hard. Breaking ball was good. Didn't have any significant command problems, just the 1 walk and no wild pitches, no extra base hits allowed. I thought he was a positive as well. It's hard to look at positives from a weekend where you lose 2 out of 3 to Sacramento State. But to me, I'm looking at this, and there are some on the mound. And that's important. LSU's offense, I think, is going to figure it out. The pitching is going to be a strength of this team, and I liked what I saw a lot from that. Now you got to get into conference play and make it happen. We'll see if LSU can get that done to this point. So that's another look at baseball. We'll talk some more baseball with Buzzy Haidell in 15 minutes. Buzz was on the call for at least one of the games over the weekend. Not sure if he had one of the other 2, but he was on the call for at least one of them. We'll talk to Buzz coming up in 15 minutes. When we come back, LSU lost in men's basketball on Saturday. That shouldn't surprise anyone. They got last place in the SEC. But McMahon was asked in the postgame, why should you be given a 5th season at LSU? And he gave an answer. We'll let you hear it when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Fabry Chevrolet GMC. It's online at FabryChevrolet.com. The entire inventory is online at FabryChevrolet.com. They're on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Been under new ownership since October the 1st. But you know the Fabry family. There's nothing new about them. They've been in Baton Rouge for 35 years. Incredible customer service, great buying experience, service after the sale as well. And if you're looking for a truck here in the first quarter of 2026, well, they got them for you. Up to $11,000 off Chevy Silverados, 1.9 APR financing, or up to $13,000 off your GMC Sierra, 0.0 APR financing. If you're looking for a truck, looking for an SUV, check them out at Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Online at FabryChevrolet.com. That's FabryChevrolet.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Another roof gone too soon. Looks like neglect. There's no doubt about it. This is a case of poor installation. At Pelican Roofing, we don't guess. We investigate to find the real cause of your roof's problems. Call Pelican Roofing for your free roof investigation today. Case closed.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information,
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
Reminds you about Lifetime Roofing. Find them online, lifetimeroofingla.com. Their core values over at Lifetime Roofing are customer service, quality, and integrity. They take a ton of pride in setting themselves apart from other companies by being involved in the community here in South Louisiana, doing multiple roof giveaways, BCA awareness, and military giveaways as well, each and every year to those in need. It's a wonderful company. I've had an opportunity on multiple occasions to sit down with the folks over at Lifetime Roofing. They really care about this community, and they understand in the line of work that they're in that oftentimes you're dealing with people who have experienced a really tough event. Got to need a new roof based on damage from a storm, tree falling, something like that. They understand, they take it seriously, that they're there to help people. It's not just a job. It's an opportunity to help the community. And as of January 1st, they're thrilled to offer a lifetime workmanship warranty on their work. If you get a new roof from the folks at Lifetime Roofing, you'll get that warranty that backs the workmanship as well as the materials, which are backed by CertainTeed, one of the oldest, most trusted names in building materials. Check them out online, lifetimeroofingla.com. That's lifetimeroofingla.com. All right, let's close out the hour here. We'll talk to Buzzy Haidell coming up in 12 minutes about the LSU baseball Tigers. We'll get Buzzy's thoughts on a tough weekend that was. But I want to switch gears over to basketball right now. LSU lost in triple overtime in the home finale against Texas A&M to finish conference play 3-15, which is dead last in the league. South Carolina and Ole Miss both edged them with 4 conference wins. So LSU will be the 16th seed in the Southeastern Conference tournament starting up on Wednesday. And Matt McMahon was asked after the game by Glenn Gilbo, like, why should you get a 5th year here? And this is what the LSU basketball coach had to say.
You know, for me, I'm 47. This is my 30th season in college basketball. So I've just been incredibly blessed. Have absolutely nothing but gratitude, appreciation, for this opportunity. With that, the 30 years experience, I also understand what comes with the job from an expectation standpoint. And I share in the disappointment and frustration, that we haven't gotten the results we wanted to this last 2 months. That's my responsibility. With that said, I absolutely love LSU. I love our core group that returns next year. I think we have great administration and leadership team here at LSU, and so clearly I'll respect whatever decisions that they make moving forward.
It's that's the kind of answer I would expect from Matt McMahon. He has, throughout his time at LSU, just always been incredibly mild-mannered at the mic. That's just the way he handles it. And y'all have heard me a billion times say, I don't really care how you handle press conferences. I don't care how you handle injury reports. I care about the product on the field or on the court. And LSU's product on the court has not been good enough. I believe in Matt McMahon's 4 seasons that 2 of them he had no chance. I don't think he had any chance his first year, and I don't think he had any chance last year. I think in year 2 he had a chance. He went 500. And I think this year he had a chance. And I think the roster was put together in a flawed way. Now, unquestionably, it is a bad break to lose your point guard and your power forward, who were probably the 2 highest paid players on the team. That's a terrible break. But I think even with those 2 guys, this would have been a bad defensive team and probably not a team that would have made the NCAA tournament. The non-conference schedule was weak, and they feasted on it. They shot it great against SMU. They absolutely blitzkrieged a poor DePaul team, and they crushed all the tiny mid-majors that they played. And we just didn't know what it was going to look like when league play rolled around, and by the time it did, Thomas got hurt, and you're just not really sure. But I don't think this team would have been good on defense. And the fact of the matter is that through 4 years, there's not been an identity to LSU basketball. You don't say, oh, well, they're really good defensively, or oh, they run great stuff on offense, or oh, they're one of the fastest teams in the country, or oh, they rebound like crazy. Like, you point to teams and programs, even as the pieces change, and you kind of know what you're going to get. Rick Barnes is always going to have Tennessee playing really tough physical defense. Doesn't matter who's there or who isn't. That's what they're going to do. Doesn't matter who comes in and out of Alabama. Nate Oates is going to have guys that can shoot threes. They're going to score a ton. When Buzz Williams was at Texas A&M, they were going to out-rebound everybody. Now they've got Bucky McMillan over there. They're going to press. They're going to shoot threes. They're going to play fast. Like, there are identities of these programs. LSU doesn't have one. I have no idea what LSU's trying to be under Matt McMahon. And the truth of the matter is that it's been the worst 4-year stretch in the history of LSU basketball. I think he's working hard. I think he's trying. I think he's caught some terrible breaks. And I think it's a hard job in this era at LSU, where your men's basketball program is playing like 6th fiddle on campus. But the job has not been done. And I believe the decision on whether to keep Matt McMahon or fire him was made weeks ago. I think that decision was made weeks ago. I don't know what it is, but I do believe we're going to find out in the next 10 days, because they're going to lose to Kentucky on Wednesday, and they're going to come back, and they're going to have their exit meetings, and Verge will sit down with Matt McMahon, and that conversation will happen. So by this time next week, you'll have your answer on how much LSU cares financially about men's basketball. That you will get that by this time next week, because they'll be back in Baton Rouge on Thursday of this week, and that gives you Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, into Monday, 5 days postseason. The decision will be made. I don't know what it is, but there's nothing that can happen on the floor that would change things. You either have the money and are invested enough to spend it, or you don't and you punt. That's where things are. And so I don't have a gut feeling on it. If you made me guess, I would guess that Matt McMahon is back at LSU. But I feel 0% conviction in saying that. Neither outcome would surprise me. But in year 4, you got dead last in the SEC. And LSU shouldn't really be dead last in anything. There's just no reason for that. And I get the injuries. And I am understanding of year 1 and year 3. Last year, you were so far behind the boat in spending, it just wasn't going to happen. But you caught up this year. And the team that got put together was really bad on defense, and then your best player got hurt. No question he got bad breaks, but the results are the results. And as he said, he shares LSU's frustration. I'm curious if there is actual frustration or if it's just apathy at this point. I like Matt McMahon a lot. He's been incredibly great to me. I've had him on the show multiple times, interview him every year pre-game. He's invited the media to practices and chatted with us, and he's been nothing but great. But wins and losses are wins and losses. He understands that, and there's just way too many losses and not nearly enough wins. But LSU's got to make its decision. I think they'll make it in the next 7 to 10 days. All right, we'll take a time out. We'll pause for National Headlines and Sports Center. When we come back, Buzzy Haidell, national champion, member of the LSU Sports Radio Network, talking LSU baseball. What's wrong? We'll get the buzz from that coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. 30 years. Go with the guy that's been doing it for 30 years. Go with the company that's licensed, bonded, insured. Go with the company with the master plumber. Don't go with the handyman down the street who you're going to pay in cash. If you've got a malfunctioning toilet, malfunctioning bathtub, shower that needs to be replaced, let David Duvall and his team do it. Go look at the pictures of their great work at OneBathAndClosets.com. You'll see they're beautiful, functional, customized to exactly what it is that you need. So if you need a new closet, they can handle it. You need a new bathtub, they can handle it. Need a new vanity, multiple sinks, they can do that as well. All the great work, plus the opportunity to get that free consultation is online at OneBathAndClosets.com. They got financing available, 0% up to 18 months. One Bath and Closets. Check them out online at OneBathAndClosets.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
Championships are won with preparation, and so are great roofs.
The Tigers don't cut corners on the floor. Parrish Construction and Roofing won't cut corners on your home either.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
ParrishBuilt.com. At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at DecisionCriticalBR.com and give us a call today to get started.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit LouisianaPropane.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgout.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi on this first day of NFL free agency. Breaking news, longtime Buccaneers receiver Mike Evans leaving Tampa to sign a 3-year deal with the 49ers worth up to $60 million. One of the Chiefs' top priorities this offseason, improving their rushing attack, and they've done so. Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III, 3 years, $43 million, more than $28 million guaranteed from Kansas City. Our Harry Douglas.
I love this move, and it says that we don't want Patrick Mahomes doing everything offensively. So you go get a guy that's Super Bowl MVP that really carried the boat of the load the later part of the season for the Seattle Seahawks, who has experience as well. So I love this for Kansas City. They have to be more committed to the run game. They were 25th in rushing a season ago.
Tyler Linderbaum to the Raiders, 4 years, $81 million, $60 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid interior offensive lineman in NFL history. Panthers signing former Dolphins and Eagles linebacker Jalen Phillips, 4 years, $120 million. Quarterback Malik Willis agreeing to a deal with the Dolphins hours after Miami released Tua Tagovailoa.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ Chris Candy coming up Tuesday as we head towards free agency. I'll tell you which players can make teams title contenders. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
He needs care and treatment.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Is this a great country or what?
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Check them out online, guaranteehealth.com, guaranteehealth.com. Tigers dropped the series to Sacramento State. LSU's lost now 4 games pre-conference for the first time since 2007. I know a guy that was on the team in 2007, also helps out on the LSU Sports Radio Network. That is Buzzy Haidell, joins us now on the Jim's Firearm Sideline. Buzz, how we doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, Hunt. Man, was it 2007? You sure it wasn't like 2014 when I wasn't on that team?
No, 2007 is what I'm told. How much did you contribute to those 4 pre-conference losses?
I may have to check. Bill Franquez. This might be like the only time he's ever been wrong in the history of his life. No, I know he's not wrong. He's right. I get it. I don't think I started. No, I don't think I started many games during that time.
I want to say y'all went to Stetson and got swept. Does that sound right?
We did.
And then I want to say you dropped one to Lipscomb as well. Did that happen?
Could have dropped 2, but who's counting? You know.
All right, let's talk about this team. It's not hard to count the runs they score because there's not very many if you take Friday's game out of the equation. What are you seeing from LSU offensively? This is kind of a 2-week rut.
Well, offensively, it's they're just not getting a lot of hits, and they're not getting a lot of timely hits. I mean, if you look, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I would think left on base numbers probably been pretty high. And I always look at that too. I mean, it's not just hitting, but it's hitting with guys in scoring position, and really just getting quality at bats. I mean, we talked about it all the time when I remember when we played, and I know this is nothing new, but you know, baseball and hitting is such a tough thing to do. You know, you always hear you can fail 70% of the time and still be a Hall of Famer, but so you got to think of other ways to put yourself in a positive mindset, and that's what quality at bats is. You don't always have to get a hit, but you've got to do things that help the team. Move the baseball, you know, get a butt down, guy at second base, get him to third with less than 2 outs. Just you don't always have to, you know, put up 15 hits a game and you know, offensively, but you do have to get quality at bats. And if you put enough quality at bats together, you know, you look up at the scoreboard and things should take care of themselves if you've done a good job of recruiting the right players and all that. So, that's my big thing is they're not 1 through 9. They're just not putting enough good at bats together, enough quality at bats. I mean, I think I saw today they're 14th out of 16 teams, so third to last in the league in hitting, last in pitching, and last in fielding. So right now they're just not a very good baseball team, Hunt, and that doesn't mean they're going to be a bad baseball team for the entirety of the year. That doesn't mean that's what they're going to be, or what, once it's all said and done. But right now they're not very good, and you can look at the stats and it'll tell you with 16 SEC teams they're damn near dead last in most categories.
Yeah, left 10 on base on Saturday, left 8 on base on Sunday in the 2 games that they lost. Only 5 left on base in 6 innings of work on Friday when they went nuts and scored 15 runs on 15 hits. Hit 6 home runs. As far as the platooning that Jay is doing, you're seeing a different lineup just about every day. Ruckert in a couple of days, Mason Braun in a couple of days, Daniel Harden comes in for a couple of days, Simpson's in and out, Cerna plays on Saturdays. Like, do you like using that depth, trying to mix and match, or would you rather find a little bit more concrete 9?
Well, if I was on the team, I'd like to be the guy platooning, right? Because I was kind of that guy a little bit when, and you'd always want your chance when somebody else is not doing it, but it does. It does make it hard to get in a rhythm, and yeah, I think they really haven't found their. Jay's done this a few times. I mean, we always used to say there was a certain guys that would only leave the lineup in a pine box. Blake Dean was one of them.
Yep.
You'd put Blake Dean in the lineup before you put anybody else in the lineup, because
the Gibbs kid could hit too.
Yeah, I mean, those guys never came out the lineup, so. You have your constants that are going to stay in there, and then, but yes, it makes it tough for the guys that are vying for a spot to get into a rhythm and be comfortable. And with that being said, that's college baseball, though. I mean, that unfortunately there's not 162 games, so you can't let him sit in there for 3 weeks if he's not doing a job. I mean, you've got to see who is going to rise up and get the job done, when the time is now, because there's not that many games and the season's too long and the pressure's too high at LSU. Doesn't matter, even Jay Johnson. I mean, I think he's fine. I think he's not feeling much pressure going 2 national championships in 3 years. But LSU, you need to win, and you need to win right away. And so there's not much time for that. But you could tell they definitely don't. Other than, I mean, you tell me, Hunt. Other than Milam on the infield, who are you absolutely confident with, right now at plate? And I mean, there's not many. I mean, even, we all thought York at first was just going to, pencil in 25 homers and he'd be good to go. But we're starting to see that how important Jared Jones was last year, a big bopper in the middle of those lineups. And you look, just about every national champion, not just about, probably every national championship game or team you've seen, I mean, we've had a big bopper in that lineup that scares you. And right now, LSU doesn't have that. Again, can York be that guy and be the guy in the middle lineup that can hit you 20 homers? I mean, we think he can, but we're not seeing it yet. And that's not picking on York. We hadn't seen it offensively from a lot of guys. And so that's what's the issue at the moment.
Let's put a number on it, like 0 is you're just not concerned at all about the season-long offense, and 10 is fire everybody. Like, where are you on your worry level that LSU is not going to come out of this rut?
Can I talk to you in 2 weeks or 3 weeks in the SEC and give you that number?
Sure.
This is what I tell people. I'll answer that question with the number here shortly, but I'm like, the reality is if they go to Nashville this weekend and win 2 or 3, it's like, who cares?
Exactly.
That you lost to UL Lafayette, and I mean, not to get on the Moscona, and non-conference games don't matter, but they don't matter when you go take care of business in the SEC.
Yeah.
But I guess, listen, I guess there's I'll put it at, God, boy, this is going to be such just a on the fence guy. This is what Ronnie gets mad. Ronnie Rant gets mad at me all the time. But I mean, I'll tell you this: 0, not concerned. 10, fire everybody. Let's go with a 3.
Okay, that's relatively low, and I think that's where a lot of people are. But it's just a growing funk that's been there for 2 weeks. On the other side, I didn't think the starting pitching was bad over the weekend. Kason Evans was perfect through 5 innings. He looked the best he's looked all year. I think William Schmitz had 3 really nice outings in a row, and Cooper Moore has had 2 stellar outings. Wasn't as good on Saturday of this week, but he held the rope into the 5th inning, and his offense just didn't help him at all. How do you feel about LSU's weekend rotation?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, you got three guys and it's the old baseball saying, right? You just want your starter to keep your team in it, to give yourself a chance. But I mean, truly, that's what the pitching, especially the starting pitching, has done. I mean, again, you put everything together, and it looks like a bad baseball team when the pitching's down in the SEC. We don't field it very well right now, which is uncharacteristic of LSU baseball, particularly since we come off a season last year, which it was the best ever. And then we're not hitting. So you put it all three together, and everything just looks a little worse than probably it really is. But no, pitching, I mean, I'm a Cooper Moore fan. I was impressed with him. It was the first time I've seen him with my own eyes live and in color on Saturday. Throws a ton of strikes. I'm a big – when you could throw strikes in any counts with any pitch, which is pretty much what he does,
yep.
That guy can pitch for me. Like that starts in like Little League. You know what I mean? If you throw enough strikes, then I'll put you out there. I don't care if you throw 7 miles an hour. But Cooper Moore's I really like him. Kason Evans, we know he's got like a gazillion strikeouts in 19 innings. I mean, I'm not really concerned about him. And then William Schmidt has made a jump as far as throwing the ball over the plate. The velocity's up. You know, I mean, do you want him to be better? Sure, because again, the offense isn't scoring 8 and 9 runs a game other than the Friday game. But like if everybody was hitting on all cylinders and we were catching the ball behind them and hitting like we know this team can hit or we think they can hit, I think everybody would be more high even on the pitching side of things. Because look, I was actually shocked when I read that stat today too, Hunt, that LSU's dead last in pitching.
Yeah,
like I wouldn't have thought that. And then you go look at the numbers, okay, they are. So yeah, it's just a lot of bad things, and it snowballs, and so I think it looks worse than it is. That's why I'll go with the level 3 of worriness on your chart
on the scale. Yeah, we shall see. Hopefully they get things squared away. They got Creighton on Tuesday. He'll come in from Omaha, and then they'll play up in Nashville over the weekend against Vanderbilt before they come home and tangle with Oklahoma in the conference home opener next weekend. Buzz, we appreciate some time, man.
All right, thank you, Hunt.
Buzzy Haidell, LSU Sports Radio Network Tiger National Champion, and a guy that was on the 07 team when LSU last lost 4 games in the pre-conference. It's been a bumpy go for LSU for 2 weeks now. They got to find a way to get things figured out. I'm going to give some thoughts on some personnel decisions Jay Johnson has made. We'll do that when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust. Started up in 1910. That's 116 years ago, and they are still going strong and growing. 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. What does 25 locations mean? Well, it means a couple things. 1, there's always one near you in South Louisiana. 2, it means they've got the resources you need for your commercial loan, for your personal loan. Just because I tell you that they're a community bank because they're part of our community doesn't mean they're a mom and pop shop. They just have people that are interwoven into the fabric of your community making decisions here locally. That's the customer service aspect of it. That's First American Bank and Trust. But they've got the resources you need. If you're looking for a commercial loan, First American Bank and Trust. You're looking for a personal loan, First American Bank and Trust. Doesn't matter if you're in Hammond. Doesn't matter if you're down in Lafourche Parish, Terrebonne. Maybe you're up Tangipahoa. Maybe you're right in Dutchtown, Jones Creek. Maybe you're over in Metairie. No matter where you are in Southeast Louisiana, there is a First American Bank and Trust nearest you. Stop by and see them. Trust them with all your commercial banking needs. It's First American Bank and Trust.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
Guarantee Health Solutions brings you our Monday shows. Check them out online, GuaranteeHealth.com, GuaranteeHealth.com. You're going, what is Guarantee Health Solutions? Well, I'll tell you what Guarantee Health Solutions is. It's a national healthcare partner that's focused on the growth in the healthcare space. If you're an urgent care, dental office, medical clinic, hospital, anywhere in the healthcare space, Guarantee Health Solutions is here to help you grow. If you're having trouble getting patients in the door, they can help you with that. You're concerned about your patient experience, they can help you with that. Don't know where to start from a marketing perspective, they can help you with that. They can do a website evaluation, SEO optimization, they can handle events, they do traditional advertising spend as well with radio and television. Whatever you need to help your healthcare organization grow and move forward, Guarantee Health Solutions is here to help you do that. Hospitality is a big focus with them, as I mentioned, making sure the patient experience is a wonderful one. They can help train your staff and make sure that things run smoothly and efficiently. It's full service right here under our roof at Guarantee Health Solutions. Check them out online, GuaranteeHealth.com. That's GuaranteeHealth.com. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. We bring our Monday shows each and every week. Okay, so let's talk about this LSU baseball offense and what I would like to see moving forward. We know one of the things that we championed about this team in the pre-conference and early in the season when they were hitting like crazy is the depth that LSU has on this roster. Their ability to stack lineups with advantageous matchups hitter for hitter. If you want to play a right-handed second baseman, you can with Braden Simpson. You want to play a right-handed first baseman, you can with John Pearson. Need a DH to be left-handed? You got tons of those with Tanner Reeves. You can put Mason Braun in there. You need a backup catcher, you've got a super talented one in Omar Cerna. You can shuffle things around at third base with Caraway and then with Dardar. Reeves can play there as well. You've got athleticism. You want to get William Patrick in there to play D. Like there are a lot of pieces that you can use. And Jay Johnson is not really using them as much now as depth pieces. He's looking for answers. And you're seeing a lot of different guys get a shot. Daniel Harden hits a home run late in the game on Saturday to draw LSU within one. He's back in the lineup on Sunday. He also got a start last Wednesday in Lafayette. You saw Jack Ruckert get a couple of starts at second base. They're trying to shore things up defensively there and see if he can't provide a little bit of a spark as a left-handed hitting second baseman. You've seen Seth Dardar move around. He went to third base and started there in Caraway's absence in the game on Sunday. Mason Braun has played a little bit. He was in left field in the game on Sunday. And so what I would like to do is maybe pare that down just a little bit. And in doing so, I'm going to start in left field. If you've got Mason Braun and Daniel Harden in the game, Daniel Harden needs to be playing left field to me. Now, the folks that say, well, why do you have a first baseman playing left field? And I think Matt actually tweeted that too, but I got multiple texts about that. Mason Braun does play some first base. He's been an outfielder his whole life. He's not a great one. He's not a fast one. And I think he's probably a first baseman in professional baseball, and he might be a first baseman on LSU's team next year. But it's not like he's trying to learn outfield. He's played outfield his entire life. He told us that in week 2 in a post game. He was like, yeah, they have first base listed on everything, but like I've always played outfield my whole life. So I would have Daniel Harden out there in left field instead of Mason Braun. So if both those guys are in the lineup, go with the more athletic guy, the faster guy in left field. Now that point's going to resolve itself when Chris Stanfield comes back. And for everybody that's going, when Stanfield come back? I don't know when Chris Stanfield is coming back. And I mentioned this on the show last week, and I'll reiterate it here. Jay Johnson does not talk about injuries. He does not. And that's okay. I'm perfectly fine with that. We've gone over that song and dance a million times. You want to tell me exactly what's going on with the injury? I'm fine with that. You want to withhold that information? I'm completely fine with that too. But when you do withhold information, while you feel like you are potentially not compromising an advantage by not letting the other team know what the issue is, you also welcome speculation. Like, that's just part of the deal. And when Chris Stanfield slides into the catcher and shakes his hand out, and he's got swelling in his hand, and he doesn't play for 3 to 4 weeks after that, I'm going to speculate that there was some sort of significant issue with that injury, that there was some sort of hairline fracture or bone bruise or something fairly significant. It wasn't just, my hand hurts a little bit, I'll take a couple of days off. He's been out for a month. So something happened to his hand. But we feel like he is going to return to action at some point, and this resolves itself because he's going to go play left field, and he's going to play good defense, and he's going to hit, 295-ish with a lot of singles and some doubles, and you'll take this rotating left field thing and throw it away because Chris Stanfield's going to be the left fielder. As far as the infield pieces go, I would continue to play Seth Dardar every day. They're doing that right now, but there's rotation. Reeves played a little bit, and then he didn't, and Simpson plays sometimes, and then he doesn't, and then Caraway has played most of the time at third, and then he came out. I am going to bet on Seth Dardar and his track record as a guy who was the best hitter at Kansas State last year, who did a pretty good job early in the fall of hitting, and then hit a little bit in the early season. I'm going to bet on him. Even against left-handed pitching, I'm going to play Dardar every day. And if you want to get creative at third base, you can. I wouldn't. I would keep Caraway there because he has played good defense to this point. There is a risk defensively if you put Dardar over there, if you put Tanner Reeves over there, you've got defensive potential issues, and Caraway has been good defensively, so I would leave him there. That's going to mean a reduction in playing time for Braden Simpson and Tanner Reeves and Jack Ruckert and potentially Mason Braun at times, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I would tighten things up a little bit, and I think that's probably what Jay Johnson is going to do. It's tempting at this point to keep pulling levers because you're not getting what you want, and you're trying to catch lightning somewhere in a bottle. But I instead of trying to find that, I would instead bet on track record. And track record means Chris Stanfield when he's healthy. To me, track record is Seth Dardar. Track record is Trent Caraway. That's what I would go with. You can get creative at DH. You want to throw Pearson in there against a lefty? Okay. You want Braun to get at bats? I would probably do that. I'm not inclined to give Tanner Reeves a ton of at bats at this point. He is a talented player who had a monster year in junior college, and it just hasn't been a great offensive option for LSU. And I don't know that Jack Ruckert is ready to hit at an SEC level. I like his glove, and if you want to use him as a defensive replacement, I think that's perfectly reasonable in the 8th or 9th inning because you've got defensive issues at second base. But I would limit some of those playing time. And then the other piece of this puzzle is catcher, where I'm perfectly fine with what they're doing right now. I'm perfectly fine with giving Cade Arambidi Saturdays off. You want to give him Tuesdays off as well, fine. They need him to hit. And he did early in the season. And he did all fall. I don't believe that Cade Arambidi is going to be overmatched by SEC pitching when he gets to that this week, because he saw SEC pitching all fall, and Cade Arambidi was LSU's leading batting average hitter in the fall scrimmages. Led the team. Better than Curiel, better than Brown, better than Milam, better than Stanfield, better than all of them. He had the highest batting average on the team, and he started out like gangbusters. He hit a ball 110 miles an hour in Jacksonville. I think he is going to hit, but you do need to lighten his workload a little bit defensively, so you let Cerna go out there. I need better defense from the catchers, both of them. Had some defensive issues back there, but we're talking about offense right now, and I'm comfortable with what they're doing with Arambidi back there. I gave you the numbers in the first segment of the show. I'll revisit them now because you're talking about an hour and 20 minutes since we got into them. But I do not believe that Cade Arambidi is going to hit 130 for much longer. I don't believe that Zach York is going to hit 185 for much longer. I don't think Stephen Milam is going to hit 148 for much longer. Trent Carraway, 181. Seth Dardar, 130. Braden Simpson, 231. These are the numbers over the last 8 games. All of these guys are hitting below 231. And Arambidi, York, Milam, and Carraway are all hitting below 190 over the course of 8 games. I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that is a reasonable expectation for these guys. So to me, I asked Buzzy in the last segment, like, what's your concern level? He said a 3. I'm probably pretty close to that. I'm going to bet on the track record of Jay Johnson, on the track record of a lot of these guys. I'm going to trim down the shuffling. I'm going to trim down some of these late game pinch hit opportunities, and I'm going to go with my guys and let them fight their way out of this, because the track record suggests that Seth Dardar is going to break out of this. The track record suggests that Trent Carraway is going to hit a little bit. The track record suggests that Zach York can hit. And so I'm going to bet on those things. It's tough when everyone goes through it at once. It makes you want to do something drastic. And the fact of the matter is that it probably doesn't have to be very drastic. It probably just needs to be more at-bats. The law of averages wins out. These guys are pretty good hitters. They hit a lot in the fall. They hit a lot for 2 weeks, and they haven't for the last 2 weeks. And it's not like the competition has drastically changed. If you were crushing these awful teams and then you stepped up into the SEC and you went completely flat, you would have a good reason for that. You have not elevated your level of competition. I don't think there's a huge difference between Sacramento State and Milwaukee, Sacramento State and Kent State, Indiana and Northeastern. Like, you're playing similar level of competition, and the output is drastically worse. I think it's just a bad spot. I really thought Friday was going to snap him out of it, and I think it was probably pretty jarring on Saturday and Sunday when they reverted back to being awful at the plate. But Jay Johnson's a great coach. These guys are pretty good hitters, and I think LSU's going to figure this out. And if the pitching continues to take the steps it is, I think there's reason for optimism. It's not a popular thing to say at this point. Maybe it's homerism. We'll see. But right now, they're just all fighting at the same time. I would keep throwing them out there and see exactly what happens. Monday show is brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Step aside, 30 more minutes to go. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com. That's FabryChevrolet.com. Looking for an SUV? What a time to get an SUV. They got gorgeous ones at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Looking for a Tahoe? Looking for a Suburban? They got them up there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. If you're looking for a Yukon, looking for a Denali, they got them at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Check out the inventory. It's all online there at FabryChevrolet.com. Incredible deals on trucks this month. Up to $11,000 off Silverados, up to $13,000 off of Sierras. If your lease is about to come up or it's just time to get behind the wheel of a new ride, go check out the Fabry family, their new location, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Short drive from Baton Rouge, short drive from Point Capipare, short drive from the Felicianas, short drive from just north of Baton Rouge, as well as Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're online at FabryChevrolet.com.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know each case and client are unique, and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
The Cane's Box Combo, a symphony of flavors. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here. Helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the...
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
Monday show is brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions, online at GuaranteeHealth.com, GuaranteeHealth.com. Tell you, my friends at Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Time to get that Generac home standby generator. And if you're going to do that, you got to go through the folks at Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Neil and Melissa have been running Boudreaux's Electrical for 40 years. They are Louisiana to the core. And that's the beauty of working with them. You're working with a local family-owned business. They've been at it for 4 decades. You can get a Generac home standby generator from the big box stores, right? But what kind of customer service are you going to get with that generator? Who's going to handle the service and the maintenance? Who's going to monitor it? If you get it from one of the big box stores, do you even know? Boudreaux's Electrical, you're going to get someone local. A local team's going to come install that generator. They're going to monitor it to make sure that it's ready to spring into action when you need it. Storm season is always right around the corner here in South Louisiana. So if you want to be protected from that and the power outages that come with it, Boudreaux's Electrical Services is your stop. Give them a call at 985-397-1562. That's 985-397-1562 or 225-300-9389. That's 225-300-9389. It's Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Busy day in the National Football League. A lot of free agents agreeing to terms with new teams. We assessed the Saints situation in the first hour. Demario Davis leaving for the Jets, but the Saints making big splashes with the top available guard on the market in David Edwards. They also go to Jacksonville and grab running back Travis Etienne to fill that void on the roster. So I thought just two really, really good moves for New Orleans right out of the chute. And now we see another move that involves the New Orleans Saints, but it's another departure from the defense, and it is Alontae Taylor. You thought this was coming. Alontae Taylor tweeted a goodbye to New Orleans over the weekend via his social media account, and he is headed back home to Tennessee. He's a native Tennessean, of course, played for the Vols. And the Titans paid big for Alontae Taylor, a 3-year deal worth $60 million, $42 million guaranteed. So a $20 million a year potential over 3 years for Alontae Taylor. That is a hefty, hefty price tag for the Tennessee Titans to put on him. They obviously feel he's going to be a key piece to their defense. Tennessee also signed Cordell Flott, former LSU Tiger, in this free agent cycle. So Alontae Taylor moving on from the Saints. He will join the Tennessee Titans. And now the Saints do have a need at corner, and I think it's something that they're going to have to address in free agency or in the draft. And honestly, because you were looking at the move, I like to assess these moves and then consider what it may mean for the draft. Because when you draft 8th in the draft, you're getting a starter. Like, that has to be a starting player. And so you start to look at the spots that the Saints have filled, it becomes unlikely that you will use on an offensive lineman. You've got your offensive line set. You went and got a left guard today. It's unlikely that you're going to use it on Jeremiah Love because you went and got a running back today, and you've got your starter at that position. And so now, is it possible that they would go to a cornerback at the 8th pick in the draft, potentially Mansour Delane from LSU? I think that is possible. You've got Kool-Aid McKinstry out there who you feel like you need to keep developing as an outside corner. He had kind of a bumpy last couple of years. But you also are moving on from Alontae Taylor, who was a reasonable player for you in the slot, and you've got a vacancy there, and maybe that's a spot that Mansour Delane can jump in and fill in if you're going to do that. I'm curious, Jordan, your thoughts on losing Alontae Taylor. I think that's a tall price tag. I didn't want the Saints to go to $20 million a year for Alontae Taylor, but it does leave a hole in your defense.
Yeah, it does. I'm not too worried about losing Alontae. Alontae, he was good at what he did. He was in the slot. He was a very excellent blitzer, but he was a slot cornerback, and I don't think the Saints are in the business to be paying a slot cornerback $42 million guaranteed, $60 million overall. You know, shout out to him. Go get your money by all means, but it's not oh my God, we lost prime Marshawn Lattimore. The sun will come up tomorrow. So you're looking at the draft. Now, that would be cool to get Mansour Delane right there. That would be a LSU ties, of course, I would like that. But again, it's a slot cornerback. I don't think that this is Darrell Reeves or something trying to replace that. The Saints will be okay.
Saints will be okay in that spot. It's interesting because you had that era. It was brief, but you had an era there where you had Lattimore and Adebo and Alontae Taylor were kind of your three guys, and now you've completely overhauled that room that was a real strength for the Saints towards the end of the Dennis Allen era, and now you're looking at it as kind of a question mark at this point. Do you have the development, or do you have the talent out wide? In the NFL, you got to cover. you got to cover. So I think it's a situation where the Saints need to go spend. They clearly had priorities here. Number one on the board was guard. You had to get that, and they knocked it out of the park with that move today. Then you needed some help at running back. You could have gotten that in the draft. You could have gotten it here, and they did that as well. I think that now the corner now catapults toward the top here. You need an impact edge rusher. You need a corner. You need a wide receiver. Those are the three spots that you've really got to shore up at this point. And that becomes obvious when you don't bring back Alontae Taylor. We thought that was essentially going to be what happened, and it certainly is. So the reporting from Athletes First there, Trevin Smith, Ian Rappaport tweeted it as well. Alontae Taylor moving on to the Titans. 3-year deal, $60 million with $42 fully guaranteed. Also, just some other housekeeping from the NFL. It's a very, very busy day. Mike Evans leaving the NFC South. He will depart the Bucs, where he's the all-time leading receiver there, over 13,000 yards. He is headed to the San Francisco 49ers.
Love it. On
a 3-year deal.
Yeah, that's
for
crazy.
Mike Evans. I mean, this is a guy that was playing college football back in 2013. He's been in the NFL for a while. He is now on a 3-year deal for San Francisco. That seems like a tall deal. They've got some skill players that I think a little past their prime there with McCaffrey and obviously Evans. They offloaded Deebo Samuel, who's probably lost a step as well, but still they've got They've got a lot of money tied up into some aging playmakers is what they've got.
They do, man, and it's a beautiful day. You know, a day where Mike Evans leads the division, the Saints shore up the O-line. Like, we're just missing, like, the lottery at this point. Like, the Saints are just so close. But I will say this, Hunt, what I do appreciate is that now we're getting closer to the draft, and you're seeing, obviously, free agency has started. We're seeing the Saints make moves and here and there. But it's starting to shore up, like, who we're really going to pick at 8. Like, you're starting to see the clouds part and the sun starting to come out again. So, again, like you said, pass rusher, Bain, everybody's saying he might fall arm length. I would be okay if Bain falls to you at 8. That would be cool. Monso Delane, that would be cool too. I'm not on board with the Carnell Tate or Mekhi Lemon, or Jordan Tyson. That would be cool regardless. But you're starting to see the sun starting to come through the clouds a little bit. So I appreciate that the most, honestly.
Some veteran quarterbacks on the move. Mitchell Trubisky headed to Tennessee. Marcus Mariota headed back to Washington on a 1-year deal. I was curious if the Saints were going to jump into that veteran market, if in fact they were able to trade Spencer Rattler, if somebody wanted to jump in on that. I'm kind of indifferent about that whole deal. If you could get an asset for Spencer Rattler, I would like to do that, and then you could maybe bring in a veteran, but some of those veterans are kind of flying off the shelf here, so it seems like Rattler might be back with New Orleans if they don't have a taker there. Like something happens every 5 seconds. Every time I refresh Twitter, there's another signing popping up, so I'm just trying to stay focused on what's going on. But to me, as I said at the top of the show, and I'll reiterate it here, even with the departure of Demario Davis, the departure of Alontae Taylor, I believe the Saints are better right now than they were 3 hours ago because you shored up offensive line and because you went and got a veteran, productive running back. That's the most important thing the Saints can do to help the development of Tyler Shuck is to protect him and to run the ball. And they could not do either last year. He played through it. He made it work.
Yeah.
But your environment could be a little bit more conducive to quarterback development if you can do those two things. And you got probably the best guard on the market, and you got a proven 1,000-yard back on a 4-year contract to bring in with Alvin Kamara. So I think that what the Saints have done is really good. It's interesting just how much optimism is oozing into the black and gold here.
Too much.
When all you had to do is rewind to October, and it was gloom and doom. Now it's optimism season because everybody's healthy and nobody's lost a game, and you have the opportunity to go add some pieces. But I do feel like the Saints are moving in the right direction, and that's an exciting thing. They've made some really positive moves today on the free agency side of things, and they also added a punter. The punter,
yeah, man, shout out the punter.
They added a punter who played at Tulane. 4-year deal for a punter.
I know that was Mickey. Like, you see the Hunt. That's the thing though. Mickey will do something like that and then follow that up with getting the best guard on the market and getting Travis Etienne. So it's like, what? Oh, okay, never mind. You got it, Mickey. My fault. I'll tell you this.
Interesting stuff.
I'll tell you this. I cannot believe I'm actually sitting here and the Saints are not shopping on the clearance rack.
Yeah.
Usually you have to wait a couple of days. Like at the first 2 days of free agency, got to pass.
Well, you're $118 million over the cap this time of the year most of the time instead of 20 under. You're Ross Jackson. They're $20 million under the cap. That's a beautiful thing.
That's basically nothing for the Saints. That's nothing. So
beautiful.
We're sitting here talking about the Saints signing free agents, and usually if today's Monday, you're doing that on a Wednesday because everybody else then got signed.
How about Cordell Flott with the Titans? 3-year, $45 million contract for a third-round pick in year 4. That's a heck of a go for DBU's latest rich person, Cordell Flott. So my guess is that we'll take a timeout and then we'll come back and more NFL news is broken. Either way, if it has or it hasn't, we'll talk about some things and we'll close it up with some take it or leave it. It's a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. My buddy just texted me, said he got a tee time at Pebble Beach later this week. That may not be you. You may not be as lucky as my guy. But you can go play Pebble Beach on the simulator at Swing Easy Golf Club. I did it. I played the 7th hole 600 times, literally. You streamed it on YouTube. But you can go check it out, Swing Easy Golf Club. It's a great place to go hang out. You can play Pebble Beach, play Cypress Point, you can play Spyglass Hill. You can play where they play that famous golf tournament every April and give the jacket out. That course is right there for you as well. And you can also just work on your game, put on the driving range setting. They got cold beer in there, got seltzers, got some comfortable seating, television, the turtle box for some tunes. Make an afternoon of it. Make an evening of it. Beautiful thing. You can play golf at 10 o'clock at night. Swing Easy Golf Club because it's indoors in the simulator. Go see them at Segan at Perkins. Swing Easy Golf Club. They're online at swingeasygcbr.com. Swingeasygcbr.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know each case and client are unique, and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
Monday show is brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions, GuaranteeHealth.com, GuaranteeHealth.com. New college baseball rankings came out today. LSU, as expected, took a pretty significant tumble across the board. Interestingly, D1 Baseball and Baseball America and Perfect Game all had the Tigers at 13. The coaches dropped LSU down to number 17 in their poll. So Tigers with a big dip, as you would expect. You're talking about a team that lost 4 out of 5. That's a tough scene. So not the rankings are irrelevant, but it's just a one data point to look at, and LSU has dipped a good bit. It was a weird weekend in SEC baseball. Vanderbilt lost a game to North Dakota State 5-2. You saw Florida have to fight off a sweep of High Point, and they fought off the sweep of High Point on Sunday with 3 consecutive bases loaded walks. They were losing entering the 9th inning and potentially getting swept by High Point. So not a great effort for them. Arkansas lost the game yesterday to Stetson 4-1, and they are trailing Stetson today 6-4 in the 9th inning. They've got 2 outs to push 2 runs across, or they're going to split a 4-game series with Stetson, so that's not a great look there. Georgia had a rough weekend. So it's it was weird because you look at that schedule and you go, well, everybody's scheduling a cupcake this weekend. The SEC is just going to dominate, and maybe everybody was looking forward. Maybe everybody just didn't play very good baseball, but there are a lot of losses taken by SEC teams over the weekend in the final pre-conference weekend. So we'll jump into league play coming up on Friday. LSU will travel to Vanderbilt and play the Commodores. The only team that is undefeated in the SEC is now Texas, who is ranked number 2, just about across the board behind UCLA, who has been pretty awesome. So LSU back in action tomorrow against Creighton. We'll talk about it on the show. Creighton plays its home games at Charles Schwab Field. LSU feels like a long way from Charles Schwab Field right this very second, but it'll be Tigers and Blue Jays coming up tomorrow. Arkansas strikes out there, so they're down to their last out. Could drop their second consecutive game to Stetson over this wraparound weekend series. I'll let you know if something happens over the next 4.5 minutes. But for right now, take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so the last couple of weeks we have talked about Malik Willis at length, and so we finally got an answer to our question. Where's Malik Willis going to go? So Malik Willis is heading to the Miami Dolphins on a 3-year, $67.5 million contract. And, as you know, the Dolphins also cut Tua today. So are we saying Malik Willis over Tua? Take it or leave it?
I would probably leave that, but it is what it is. How much dead money are the Dolphins taking on?
90, I think it was like $99 million.
$90 million is a fat chunk of dead money for the Miami Dolphins. That's a hard way to run a franchise when you got $90 million coming off the books that you can't use. That's brutal.
Even better, Hunt. There's a lot of reports saying that Tua can play on a vet minimum contract this year because he has like 60-something guaranteed that the Dolphins have to pay. And so the Falcons are trying to bring him in to be their backup or maybe starting quarterback. We'll see what, Michael Penix's knees give out every other game. So we're looking at a situation where the Saints could be having this resurgence and you get to play Tua Tagovailoa twice a year. I just can't lose right now.
Turnovers.
Oh, my God. Cannot lose. Okay, so the Indianapolis Colts are going to keep their wide receiver Alec Pierce, who set a free agent record for wide receivers with his 4-year, $116 million deal. This is where it gets tricky. In his 4 years in the NFL, he's only had one 1,000-yard season. So major overpay. Take it or leave it.
That seems like an overpay to me. I'm gonna take that.
I'll take it.
That's a significant chunk of change. With the salary cap up over $300 million now. Like, folks,
it's crazy though.
Folks are spending cash. There's no doubt about it. The Saints finally got in on the mix. I saw Ross Jackson just tweet out. He was like, the Saints are never active in the first hours.
Never.
You have to wait till the market gets set and let all the high-price guys, and then you swing in and undercut things on the back end. That's been the Mickey Loomis way. Not anymore. Going for the top dollar guard.
You know what's crazy? The one time I can say, that actually did work out for Mickey in a good favor was when they got Chase Young kind of like high price, and they ended up re-upping him. And this contract looks amazing right now compared to these other guys getting signed. So Mickey's he keeps winning, man. I hate this. I hate it, but I love it.
You love it.
Yeah, I know. According to Adam Schefter, there's not been any ground being set on this new refs contract going on. So they're said that the contract negotiations between the NFL and executives and the referees are not in a good place. As you know, the refs are part-time employees. They're not full-time. So the current agreement is set to expire in May, meaning the possibility of using replacement officials is on the horizon. So round 2 of replacement officials. Take it or leave it.
That was a disaster. Wasn't that the Hail Mary in Seattle?
The
touchdown. Oh, my gosh. That was bad enough that we all noticed it. I mean, when they went to those replacement refs. Oh, my goodness. Can't do that. That worked out beautifully for the refs union.
Oh, yeah.
They're just a complete butcher show in Seattle, and now you kind of get what you want. All my labor discussions is focused on baseball right now, and I'm terrified about it.
But we know baseball, they kind of need the salary cap, though.
Well, they're not going to get it because the players are not going to budge.
So what do you think is going to happen? I mean,
they're going to get a lockout. I mean, I don't. Apparently, the owners have put aside this huge kitty of like a couple $1 billion that they're going to be able to draw from in the event that they can't play. I don't know if the players have anything similar.
I
to
doubt
that
they
point.
have anything like that.
So we'll see who blinks first, but it's going to be terrible.
Oh man, well, I mean, again, we don't want these replacement refs, especially a season where we need the Saints to actually make a move. Do not need to be getting killed by the refs early in the season. NFL, y'all are a billion-dollar organization. Multi-billion. Pay the refs. That's not hard, man. Just pay the refs. We already don't like them enough. Just pay them, man. We don't need some replacements. That's it for Take It or Leave.
All right. Arkansas is still clinging to some hope. They got runners on first and second with 2 out in the ninth. They trail Stetson 6-4. If they lose, they would drop to 12-5 on the season pre-conference. It's kind of been a bumpy go in the last couple of weeks for Arkansas and for LSU as well, two of the teams that you figure will be there at the end. But they got work to do to fight off the Stetson Hatters from DeLand, Florida. We talked to Buzzy earlier in the show. Buzzy and LSU got swept in DeLand in 2007, which incidentally is the last time LSU lost 4 games pre-conference. So all comes full circle. The Hatters always involved. We'll see if in the next 90 seconds if they can get it out, and I'll let you know. If not, then you won't. But we'll close out the show telling you that if you missed any of the show, catch it on demand. I talked the first 15 minutes about LSU's offense, discussed the Saints free agency multiple times. You want to check out any of the latest happenings in Saints free agency, you can do it at louisianasports.net. Also, our Saints content on Hunt on Saints. That's Hunt on Saints. Talked to Buzzy Haidell at 2 o'clock about some LSU baseball. I gave kind of my thoughts on what they should do with the lineup at 2:15 as well. So plenty to check out on demand. You can find it wherever you find your sound. Just search Hunt Palmer Show. Like, subscribe, rate, and review. We always do very much appreciate that. That's it for us here on this Monday. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further Review. Have a safe and happy Monday. We'll back tomorrow. Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Marucci. Check out Marucci. What a gem here in Baton Rouge. Go take a tour where they make the official bat of Major League Baseball. A couple of ex-pros and their trainer started this up in 2004 in a backyard shed. Fast forward 22 years, the best in the game used Marucci equipment, and you can see where they make 1,200 bats every single day if you take a tour. Check it out online, maruccisports.com/campus-tour. And here's the deal they'll make you. If you take that tour, you get that ticket. 20% off the Campus Tour store and in the hitter's house. So take your youth league team. Take your family. Got a softball team? Got a baseball team? Take them to Marucci. Check it out. Arkansas just lost. That doesn't make me sad. Stetson wins. Arkansas probably uses Marucci. Go take a tour of Marucci. Check them out online at maruccisports.com/campus-tour. Get those 20% off when you check out the official bat of Major League Baseball. It's all there at Marucci. maruccisports.com.